Welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm Jeff Dover, and this is John Barbin, and let's talk football.
All right, let's get to it. This is our NFL Week 3 preview, and starting with best ever and moving on to worst ever games. So best ever, I've got 4 of them here. I got Houston and Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that would have been a couple of years ago, but Minnesota looks really good. They just smoked the Niners, and Houston looks really good. So,
or even at the beginning of the season, I don't know if you would have said that.
Right? Yeah.
But Minnesota is hitting above their weight category right now.
Next one, Philly and New Orleans. Now, Monday night kind of took some of the sheen off of this, but Philly's got to get their act together. This is like a really high stakes game for Philly. If New Orleans shows up the way they did last week, this is going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. So Philly's got to prove it right here.
Yeah, it hasn't taken any sheen off of me. I think it makes it more urgent for Philly. and the fact that, again, at the beginning of the season, if it's Philly at New Orleans and New Orleans is favored by 2.5, but so no one would have seen that coming before. They would have been Philly favored by a lot. And I want to see New Orleans offense, if they can keep anything remotely close to what they've been doing so far against Philly, because they've scored 91 points in 2 games, which is ridiculous. And so if they do anything over like 30 or 35, that means it's legit, and we could be seeing, a historic offense out of this team. So Kamara's playing really well, Carr's playing well, and that's a good defense. And it is cliche because it's always like this in the NFL, but like every team, both teams need this game. I think it's going to be important. So that no, I'm excited about that one.
I think Philly needs it a bit more.
Philly needs it more. You're right.
Yeah. Next is Detroit and Arizona. Again, a couple of years ago, that wouldn't have been anything. Detroit, this is
for like a decade.
Yeah. Detroit, it's a get right game. And, I last week, I just think the Bucs are good. So it wasn't a bad game. And Arizona, holy smokes, if that connection between Murray and Harrison Jr. is going to be a consistent thing, I've got them on my note. This is probably going to become a must-watch team every week.
Yeah, if you're a Detroit DB, that's the most film on Harrison Jr. you've watched in some time, right? Because that, again, I don't know at the beginning of the season how much that would have been on the radar, but that's going to be a great matchup at Arizona. The Kyler Murray was unstoppable last game. So this is the game 3 where, is which one are we going to see? Is it going to keep going like how that great game you just played, or are you really not yet like the other game you played? So that's sort of the feeling I have for a lot of these, is like, which one's going to show? Is it going to be the Arizona that lost the big league, the Buffalo, or is it going to be the one that beat up on the team last week? It's I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. My last one in best evers is Kansas City and Atlanta. After this, Atlanta's just, it has to be, because Atlanta's my controversial team because of Cousins and Penix. That come from behind win, like we said in our previous video, probably saved Cousins' season. Maybe they're riding a high, but I just have to watch Atlanta this whole season. And any game against KC now is likely going to be a playoff atmosphere.
Atlanta's defense is good. Okay, when I was watching the Philly game, that was one of my first notes I had, is that their defense is good. And so I think this is going to be, a moderate test for Mahomes, at least going into it. And I don't think Kansas City's defense is really as good as Philly's. So I think if Atlanta can run the ball, which they were able to at times against Philly, if they can run the ball against KC and their defense shows up, that this is a way more interesting matchup than I thought it was going to be, and I'm happy it's a late game on Sunday. I'm going to look forward to that.
Yep. All right. So my next category is an in-between one. It's just get right games.
Yeah.
And first one there, kind of obvious, 49ers and Rams. Last week was awful for both teams. Division game. Somebody's got to get right here. If it's just a good game and they both can walk away from it saying, look, we played hard, then fine, no matter who wins. But if one of these teams looks ugly again, then that's going to be a real problem.
Well, and that's on one of the notes that I had here, because on our NCAA show, you had a disaster watch section. And I said, how many more games is it going to take for the Rams to be in your disaster watch section? Because if they suffer any more injuries, or if they come out and this slow against San Francisco, like that's going to be rough. That it has a chance of unraveling. So you're right. It's a get right game. San Fran lost last week too. This is one they both need it, but oh man, that's whoever loses this one, it's going to hurt.
And if they lose bad, people are going to really question them. All right. So my next get right game, again, both teams, Dallas and Baltimore.
Yep.
Dallas, that was about as bad of a loss as you could possibly take. With Dak on the bench with 5 minutes to go, it's just terrible. And Baltimore, what is wrong with Baltimore? We don't know, but this is a major get right game for them. I think if you go 0-3, there's the odds of making the playoffs is becomes so low in the NFL. And even though it's only 3 games, they just can't lose again. Baltimore just can't lose again.
Yeah, this is a potential to be a really good game. I was really struck by the line here because it's Baltimore -1. It's the shortest line out of all the NFL games on the slate, and the over-under is almost 50. So this potentially is going to be a really close game and high scoring, at least that's what the odds makers are thinking. So if it's a close game and high scoring, Baltimore, Dallas, sign me up. I want to see that. But you're right. It's both teams need to get right.
Mm-hmm. All right, my next category is blowout potential. And I've got 2 here, Seattle and Miami, for obvious reasons. Seattle's just playing tough, and Miami's a mess right now. Backup quarterback. Team can't possibly have a lot of motivation after the way that other one ended. And Tampa Bay versus Denver. Bo Nix just looks bad. And Tampa Bay's playing some gritty football right now. Taking down Detroit nowadays, that's a legit win. So they might also just potentially just crush Denver. So these are my 2 blowout potential games.
Yeah, someone knows something that we don't, because Miami at Seattle. Seattle's favored by 5, which seems awfully low for that type of situation. So I agree with you. It would have been. I thought the point spread would be higher than that, and I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle walks away with it, because I just don't know how Miami's going to look without Tua. So, and on the road, because Seattle's a tough place to play.
Yep. All right. So now I got my worst ever games, and subheading gonna be ugly. So that just means like low scoring, boring, just a slog, like rock fight type games. I got the Chargers at Steelers to start that one. Harbaugh's just going to want to go slow, and the Steelers I don't think can do anything other than go slow.
Yeah, so absolutely. This is the over-under, and the total is 35.5, which is, if you're listening to our other college show, that's normally reserved for service academies or when I was playing someone. So that is a low-scoring game that is, I have no interest in watching that one.
My final note there is I don't think Pitt will score more than 10 points. My next one, Chicago-Indy, for obvious reasons. And my note there, 20 total completed passes in the game.
So that one for me was, I'm going to watch that game. I'm intrigued by that game. I want to see Caleb Williams play again, because I think he's a dynamic talent, and same thing with Richardson. Now, I don't think either of them are playing super well, but they show flashes of brilliance, and so that for me is going to at least be interesting enough. And again, this is also that has a low point spread, so it should be a close game. So I think that's, if Chicago could win a game without scoring an offensive touchdown, and Indianapolis might not score a lot either, I think it could be a close game, and Chicago could be in it. So I'll watch that one.
Yeah, I think it's another rock fight. Next one, Green Bay against Tennessee. My note there, neither team will score 20 points.
Yeah, this is another low over under one, and it's I want to see Malik Willis on the road. So because Tennessee that's always a different animal in the NFL, and so to have him play, if he can play remotely close to how he did last time, that'll be big for him.
And my last going to be ugly is Vegas at Carolina, and Maxx Crosby going to go off is my note.
Absolutely, yeah. No, he could. It's at Vegas too, and so he's over under 2.5 sacks. I feel like that has to be the line. So yeah, no, I'm interested to see Dalton. Let's see if Dalton is can move the team a bit better. So
I appreciate your optimism. I don't. I mean, I
I
think
didn't
it's
say I was going to watch it. I said,
yeah.
but it's
Just
I'll check the box
interest.
score.
Yeah, check the box score. I mean, I think it's. I think the curiosity is slightly misplaced, but I'm gonna watch. It's gonna be a disaster watch for me. I think I'm actually gonna watch that one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's all I got. You got any more comments for what's coming?
Nope. No, we covered all the ones that I think and you know what? I'll throw it on the fire. There is the New England and the Jets. So that this is more of a I like the old school AFC East matchup, and this is one of the ones where I want to see which Jets team shows up again. So is it going to be the one that won last week where Rodgers looks like he was moving the well and the defense was playing better, or are they going to look like they did the week before, which was not great because New England has a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm interested to see if Rodgers looks that good against a good defense at home, so I'll watch that one.
Yeah, I'll leave that one for you to report in on. All right, so I think that's good for today. If you guys like our show and you like what you hear and see, please subscribe, share it, and that'll really help with the algorithm and it'll help grow the channel. We'd appreciate it.